Hey guys, well, I'm back to put another one out there. I had screwed up and decided to change the fuel lines on my chainsaw and not pay that much attention to how they were supposed to go on. I thought I had put it on right, but what I ran into is after about, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes of running the saw, it would just bog down and die. And every time after that, it would stay on for like 30 seconds and then bog down and die. First, I thought it was the gas cap. Thought it was that diaphragm in there was too tight and not allowing pressure to get inside the gas can, because it was getting gas, but it just wasn't flowing very well. So, this is going to go over fuel line replacement for a Poulan PP 4018 Poulan Pro chainsaw. I've had this thing since, I don't know, 2006 or so, and it's still going. Learning as I go, of course. So I will go over that in here in just a minute. And I am also going to replace the ignition module. I noticed there was a wear spot in the cord to the spark plug, so I'm going to go over that too. So let's get started. That off. Just down here. And yes, it is fall here. And it's 85 degrees today. Very nice day. Okay, 2 nuts and a bolt to get the carburetor assembly out. Get up and out of the way. Pulling the throttle wire out. Should all kind of be self-explanatory. I'm going to go ahead, pull this out a little bit so I can finagle that out. My choke lever. I'm going to kind of push this back in. I'm going to show you guys this. This is a bigger wire, or I'm sorry, bigger fuel line. This one is a thinner fuel line. This is the return. This is the fuel from the tank to the carburetor. Now there's only 2 holes. There's only this one hole, and then the hole the bigger one goes into, which is right down in there. I think you can see that. So I've already drained the gas out of the gas tank. There's still a little bit left in there. I now need to take a side panel off. Because I got to get to the ignition module. This is not wanting to, this thing keeps turning on me. What the heck is going on? Yes, Harbor Freight. Okay. So as you can see, up there is a wear spot, and that was because this thing here was riding against it at some point. A housing at the top, it goes in the top, sets over the top of that. That was riding against that wire and wore that out. So I got to replace that. And as you can also see, this has been cracked. Probably need to get 2 new harnesses and replace those as well. Yep. So I need to do that. But for now, that'll be an easy replace. I know where it goes, what it's doing. So for this, pull this out, pull the bulb out. This is a Zama carburetor. Walbro, or however you say it, I think was the first one on it, but I replaced it with this one because I couldn't find a Walbro aftermarket. So I'm going to do the one thing that oh yes, I did this the other day so I could easily get to this thing. Pull that out of there so I can get it out of the way. Pull my gas can, cap cover out. I'm going to pull that off, leave that on the carburetor. I'm going to grab this and pull it all the way through. So there's my return line from the carburetor. Now I'm going to pull my fuel inlet, fuel line off. There. So now that looks like that. I'm going to reach in there with my handy dandy 11-inch needle nose, and there, it's pulled out. Now these are fairly new lines. I just put these in the other day, but I'm doing this to show you how to do this on a Poulan Pro PP4018. Because I couldn't find anywhere to do this, and I'll show you how I figured it out. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that off. Runaway filter. I've cleaned everything out, everything's good to go, so I'm going to just feed these back through again. And let me show you, get this out of the way. Again, there's the return I'm using for the return because it's closest to the purge bulb or primer bulb. And the other hole is way down there in the bottom. You can see it down there with a bunch of gunk around it. I blew it out the other day, so it shouldn't be that bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to fish it back. This is the bigger one too. These are I got two thin ones and one big one. This is the fuel line. So I'm just going to pinch it and feed it back through. Some people use fishing line and everything else. This does get to be a trick, I will say that. So you have to keep your patience about you and figure out how to put it in. Now some people, which I did at the very beginning, which I think I'm going to do again, I think I have enough. Yes, I do. I'm just going to start all over. New fuel line. And I am going to cut a 45. Something that'll get me started. There. Now you can see it. Nice little 45. Start this in there. Now that it's started, I can see it. Just grab it with my little nose and pull it on up. This is going to be my fuel line. I'm going to cut that piece off of it, make it nice and flat. Put your filter on it. My suggestion, pull it back until the top of the filter is about flush with the tank. So once you reach in there and pull it, I can get it, there we go. So it comes out about right there, so that should be good. Now another reason, that hole down the bottom for the fuel line is bigger than the hole for the return line, which is the reason I have two different size fuel lines. Those are the two fuel lines. I had to do some research to make sure, because there's four different sizes for fuel lines. These are the two I needed for my Poulan Pro. So, and I'll put that in the description or in the beginning of the film, which you've probably already seen. Don't lose that bad boy, because that's going to be one. That's going to be one you want to keep. And I'll tell you why here in a little bit. Now, I know this is the return, so this one is the fuel line. So now I need to cut it off at a point so. Push that on there. Went on nice and easy. I'm going to go ahead and set that on there. Oh. And I will have slack. I do have slack in there, a little bit of slack. And I need to see, tell you what, that's in the way. I did something wrong. That's in the way. Let's get that out of the way, because now I need to put my return line in. Get out here, B. So now you got to finagle your return line, which mine's right next to the purge valve and easier to get in, which I should have. It's easier to start getting in, but you guys that piss and moan about, oh, I can't get to it, these things don't work. Well, they do. This is a straight hand. You just got to keep your patience about you. I'm going to do this one by hand, so I think I can feel it go down better. Barely see it. Let's see if I can get some more in there. I'm going to show you guys. Let's see if I can do this right. Blowing. It's kind of hard to see. But anyway, it's just showing a little tiny bit where I can get a hold of it. But you do have to push it in far enough because there was a lip in there. Okay. Got this one all flat. Now, this is where this little hootie honcher goes into. I like this because after you put this on, if I can shove it on there, it's a little tight. After I put that on there, I'm going to cut me a smaller piece about so long. Which I thought I had that small one here, so there it is. This one's going to stick down far enough where I can grab it and pull it out. So I'm going to put this one on the end of it. Of course, all this does is just push the fuel back into the tank from the purge valve, the primer bulb. So when it sticks down like that, I'm able to grab it with my deals that's up in there and pull it back out. So I'm going to pull this back up until it seats. Right there. Now all I need is enough to go to my bulb. Cut that off flat. I know this goes into purge, the outside of the primer bulb, so it pushes the fuel. Put that back in like that. Put that back on, and we're ready to rock and put everything back together if we was only doing the fuel lines. I am actually going to work on getting ignition modulator off. That off. Pull that off. I need to go get it. Oh, before I do that, I wanted to check something. They were saying the gap was to be between 0.010 and 0.014. I've heard people talk about just set it to 0.012, which that's pretty close. It goes down in there. I've got my valve gauge feelers. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can. 0.012, and that went down in there pretty good, but I can't do both locations at the same time, so I'm going to go get a piece of thick cardstock and use that as a gauge. So now that I know, I can go ahead and pull this off. It's on there pretty tight. Well, that's a good magnet. And there we go. And now that's off. Set this like this so you can look at that. It basically went in like so. Gotta go get my other one. Goes under there so they don't fly away. Line everything back up. Back in there. Oh. Yes, sir, the magnet works. And it works good. Okay, something's not working here. There's a Walbro brand right there. This is not working. Well, I'll show you the problem. There's a piece this yellow piece right here will not work because that's too far away from that. So I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to rewrap that bad spot. I'm going to put it back in. Because it's supposed to clear like that. And it's not doing it. Alright. That gets sent back.